Fear is not a stranger. It visits each of us, sometimes uninvited, sometimes in silence. It hides in the corner of a darkened room, in the pit of the stomach before a hard conversation, or in the racing of the heart when the future feels too vast to grasp. Yet fear isn't an enemy, it's a messenger. It says, "This matters." In our modern world, courage has been painted as loud, daring, heroic. But in truth, courage often whispers. It trembles. It shows up not despite fear, but with it. This is not a talk about becoming fearless. This is an invitation to become more intimate with fear, to sit beside it, to learn from it, and to find in that presence a quiet strength that does not shatter under pressure, but softens, stays, and begins. Close your eyes, take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine this. You are standing at the edge of a forest. Behind you is everything you know. Ahead is a path shrouded in mist. You cannot see far, but something in you says, "Walk." Your body responds first. Your shoulders tense. Your breath quickens. Your thoughts try to bargain or back away. This is fear. But pause. Instead of fleeing, take one step forward. When we resist fear, it grows louder. But when we meet it with attention, it reveals its true form: care, vulnerability, aliveness. The fear of failure means you care about your growth. The fear of rejection means you long for connection. The fear of the unknown means you still believe something meaningful lies ahead. Fear isn't the obstacle, it's the trail marker. Now breathe again, gently, purposefully. Inhale through the nose, slowly. Exhale through the mouth, fully. Imagine you are walking deeper into the forest. The light dims, but you are not afraid. You begin to hear your own heartbeat, slow and steady. A clearing appears. In the center is a small fire. You sit beside it. This fire is your fear. It does not rage. It does not harm. It flickers gently, giving warmth and light. You do not fight it. You do not smother it. You watch it. You listen. And in that moment you realize fear, acknowledged, becomes a companion, not a captor. What is courage? It is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to continue in its presence. Courage looks like speaking your truth when silence feels safer, holding a boundary when pleasing others is easier, trying again after failing, loving again after loss. Courage is not a performance, it's a practice, a quiet, persistent choice to stay, to breathe, to be seen. Each time you show up honestly despite fear, you teach your nervous system, this is survivable, I can hold this. And over time, what once felt unbearable becomes simply familiar. Courage doesn't strike like lightning, it's cultivated. Here are 3 daily rituals to help anchor it in your life. 1. Name the fear. Say it out loud. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of being misunderstood. Naming dissolves shame. It brings clarity. It softens the edges. 2. Ground the body. Fear lives in the body. When it arises, try this. Press your feet into the floor. Place one hand on your chest. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. This simple act sends signals of safety to your brain. 3. Micro-bravery. Do one small brave thing each day. Send the message. Ask the question. Try the new thing. Courage grows in repetition, not in perfection. A woman once told me about her first solo trip abroad. She was terrified. Every night before bed, she'd sit in her tiny room and cry. One night, instead of fighting the fear, she lit a candle and simply sat. She said aloud, "Fear, you're welcome here, but I'm going to sleep now." And slowly, over the days, the fear quieted. Not because it disappeared, but because she stopped resisting it. She traveled for 3 months. She said she never stopped being scared, but she stopped letting it drive the car. This is courage, not force, but permission. So often, we want to escape, to run, to avoid. But courage is not forward motion, it's presence. It's saying, I will stay with this uncomfortable conversation. I will stay with this dream, even if I might fail. I will stay with this truth, even if I tremble. Courage doesn't ask you to roar. It asks you to remain. And in that remaining, something sacred happens. You change, not by becoming someone else, but by becoming more fully yourself. If there's one truth I hope you carry with you, it's this. You do not have to eliminate fear to live bravely. You simply have to return to your breath, your body, and your presence. Fear is not your enemy. It is the part of you that cares deeply. And courage is the part of you that keeps choosing, despite the shaking, despite the doubt. So, tonight, when fear whispers, whisper back, I hear you, I'm here too, and I'm not leaving. If this meditation touched something in you, I invite you to write one sentence. Today, I choose courage in the face of. Share it in the comments. Let your story be a lantern for someone else. And in our next journey, we'll shift from fire to water, from fear to rest. A visual meditation for deep, restful sleep. Until then, breathe softly. You are not alone. You are already brave.